Well, thank you, everybody who's on the call. This is Carolyn Cope from Bridge Marketing. I appreciate your time. I don't think this is going to take any longer than an hour. In my opinion, today's phone call is going to be one of the most important things that we've had because we have a lot of different things that we're about to roll out. I think it's very timely. I think we've worked together for the majority of 2017, and we are kicking off a brand new year. All of us at Bridge Marketing really wanted to make sure that we are operating as efficiently as possible and really accumulate better tools and a more efficient workflow, and really make sure that we are doing everything we can to help make your lives easier as salespeople and also help make your campaigns perform as best as they can possibly perform. So before we jump in, I do want to just say a quick reminder, all of the past trainings that we've done are available on Forcebook. Today we're going to talk about a new improved poll that we have created for everybody, new insertion orders, a couple new policies, and then also just a quick review on turnaround time. So we do a little bit of a refresher on what you can expect in terms of how long things take to execute, what get reporting, and things like that. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to Tiffany, or you can reach out to myself. My email is at the bottom of the screen, carolyn.cope@thebridgecorp.com. I'm happy to cover any of this with anybody who maybe missed the training or has a few more extra questions or wants to go through any of this again. I'm always happy to do that, so just let us know. Because I realize that sometimes new policies and new ways of doing things are very exciting. Sometimes people think that they can be a little bit frustrating, but I do want to stress, everybody at Bridge takes the relationship we have as Cumulus very seriously, and we listened to a lot of feedback last year. A lot of the feedback was really positive. A lot of it was also constructive. And the reason why we are making any of these changes is 100% to help improve the workflow, help campaigns get launched faster, reduce the number of errors or typos or any issues that you may have experienced during the launch process. And I wanted to make sure that we eliminated any confusion around the reporting options that are available to you, turnaround times, costs, campaign performance, expectations, all that stuff I really want to improve in 2018. And I really believe that the change I'm about to show you will make a significant improvement regarding all of those things. So the thing I want to show you is the updated portal. So the URL to access the portal is the same as it always has been. So you can see right on your screen. The password, in case any of you have forgotten, is just Cumulus123. It's all lowercase. And forward, you can now use this portal for proposal requests, creative requests, as you have been. And the additions are, you can now go to the portal to request audience count. So you no longer have to email us for those. You can just go to the portal to access everything. Request your audience count. If you need a screen share meeting or a conference call, you'd like me to be on the phone to help pitch a client with you, you can request it through the portal. And then submit your insertion orders can also be done through the portal. So let me just show you real quick what it looks like so everybody understands. Okay, when you get to the portal, this is what you're going to see now. It looks pretty much the same as the way that it had last year, but the menu options have changed slightly. So if you need to request or submit an order, I'll click right here where it says New Order on this navy blue horizontal line across the center of the screen. Click on New Order. You're just going to fill out those insertion orders, those Excel documents, but when you submit it, no longer do you have to email that to us. You can just plug it right into the portal, and you will get a thank you confirmation via email so that you know it was submitted correctly, and you'll have that as a confirmation that you can hang on to in your email folder. So fill it out. It's very simple. You just type in your name. Look at why it says account executive's name twice, but we'll fix that. So you just have to put your name in once. Market, let's say Indianapolis, and just upload whatever insertion order you need. So if it's an email campaign, if it's a multi-channel campaign, if it's geofencing, there's going to be an insertion order for each of those things. So submit however many insertion orders you have. Choose to check the file from your computer. Pick what you want, and then click submit, and you'll get a thank you confirmation as soon as it goes through. So that's super easy. If you want any of the other things that I just talked about that you can now do through the portal, you simply click on new requests. It's the search option on that navy blue bar. Section of right where you have 4 options to the left. You can request a proposal. You can create. So if you need us to design email creative or banner ads for you, you don't have to email that to us anymore. You just go to the portal, type in what you need, and we'll be able to execute it for you. It'll work much faster this way, so you'll get the creative proofs back quicker if you use the portal. If you screen share meeting, you can request that, and then the audience count. So just to give you a quick example of how to fill this out, again, it's very easy. You just send contact information here so that we know who to send the count to. So if I'm Minneapolis, I just type in my email address, select my ticket, tell the advertiser, building the count for, type the advertiser's website. And this is really helpful. This is actually important, so please don't leave any of this blank. If you can your client's website, that way if we have to do a little bit extra research, help make sure that the count is as good as and strong as it can be, this allows us to do that. Target area, your target audience here, give us as much information as possible. So even here I typed in, we're trying to target men, athletes, or former athletes who are interested in weight loss over the age of 35. But then I also, in parentheses, explain our goal is to get at least 50,000 people in the count. So please tweak this if necessary so that we hit that number. So if you have any additional information or any goal in mind, please communicate that to us so it eliminates us having to go back and forth and making changes later. It's helpful if we can get all the information up front. The advertiser's campaign goal. So the goal is that they want men to sign up for the weight loss program. They want conversions. And then client's estimated monthly budget. Then and you're good to go. So all forms are pretty self-explanatory. I'll take you to one more. I'll do a request for proposal. Okay, it's pretty much the same thing. You just type in any other people who should be receiving the proposal. So maybe you want to put your manager in there or the DDE, or maybe you have a sales assistant who should also be receiving the proposal. Anybody else, you can simply set in there. Your market, let's say rapid, advertiser, the estimated monthly budget. It's really helpful if you can even just give us a price range so that we know, I mean, are we designing a proposal that's $2,000 a month, or is this a $10,000 a month opportunity? Those two proposals will look very different. So it's more helpful if you can give us a range rather than just saying, please give us a recommendation. Any kind of ballpark is helpful. So I'll say 2K to, 6K. The campaign goal. So what are we saying to get consumers to do? Are we trying to get them to make a phone call, visit the website, to buy something? Is it to promote an event or do branding? Please let us know what the campaign goal is. Type in the audience, desired channels that you would like included, because you've already had a conversation with your client and you've already talked about native advertising and they're really excited about using native advertising. Or maybe your client mentioned that they really need help with social media. So if there are specific channels we need to include, check those off. The start and the end date, when the proposal by. What is KPI? KPI stands for Key Performance Indicator. So basically what we're asking you is what does your client need to see in order to think that this campaign is successful? Do you have something specific in mind that they want to happen? Are they trying to sell at least 3 cars that month? Are they trying to get at least 10 phone calls? Are they trying to sell at least 25 tickets? If there's something specific that your client is going to use as a measurement to decide whether or not this campaign was successful, please tell us up front that we can keep that in mind when we're actually building your proposal. That's extremely helpful information. This one is also really helpful. So some of the markets have received proposals in PowerPoint format, and some markets have been receiving proposals in Excel format. So that's which one you prefer, because each one is possible. If you want it in PowerPoint format, you'll receive a proposal that actually looks like a presentation. It's basically a pitch with a proposal slide at the end. So you can take the whole thing and then show it to your client, walk them through what people-based marketing is and how it's going to benefit their business. And then there's a proposal slide at the end that tells them specifically quantities, the impressions, what the cost is, and what's included. But if you need that and you really just need one sheet that shows you the product included, the quantities or the impression amounts, and then the total price, you can just ask for an Excel version and we will send you that. So please let us know which you would prefer. That's important for us to know up front. And notes, once you're back, click submit, it'll get to the right person, and we should have this back to you in 24 to 48 hours, hopefully less than that. If there are questions or issues with the new portal, please let us know, but we think that you'll find it much easier. Some of the feedback we received last year was that it was confusing to know who at Bridge you should reach out to for certain things. So our goal with this was to just give you a one-stop shop through the portal, and you can get it all done here, and you'll get an email confirmation with all of these things, knowing that someone will get back to you as quick as possible with whatever it is that you need.
We got one question that came in, and I just want to make sure that everybody's on the same page.
Yep.
So she said when request for account, she just wants to make sure they're getting that number. So the account request and the request for proposals are 2 separate requests, correct?
If you're requesting an audience count, you're basically, let me go back real quick, you're basically just giving us your target audience description, saying, you know, hey, I need a 20-mile radius around, you know, Nissan in Bridgeport, Connecticut. I'm looking for, you know, Nissan auto intenders who earn at least $75,000 a year, who are over the age of 25 and have children. That is an example of an audience count. So you send us that, and we will send you back how many people we have in our database. Just get the number of people back and the count ID. You need a proposal. We're actually putting together a media plan for you with how many emails to include, how many impressions to include. If we're going to do anything like retargeting, geofencing, what type of reporting we recommend you incorporate. So it's basically, do you need a media plan? If yes, request a proposal. Or if you just want to know how many people we have in our database that are relevant to the people your client is trying to reach, then you ask for the audience count.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, of course. Okay, the next thing I want to go over are the new insertion orders. So we've created 3 different insertion orders now. There's one for email, one for multi-channel campaigns, and one for any other display, banner ad, geofencing campaign. The difference between multi-channel and the display or the banner ad campaigns is that multi-channel is targeting our database. Okay, people-based marketing and multi-channel and email is all based on a database of consumers. If you just want to target a certain audience type and you just want your ad served through ad server, so we're doing geofencing or behavioral targeting, keyword search targeting, contextual targeting, anything like that, you would use the display or the banner ad insertion. Please fill them out as completely as you possibly can. The more information, the better. And if you can submit all of the insertion orders at the time, again, fill them out as completely as you possibly can. That's going to make our operations team's lives a lot easier as they're building out your campaign, because they will know exactly what you're expecting, exactly what you need, and will be able to launch the campaigns a lot faster. So all of the new insertion orders are available. Tony uploaded them to the Westwood One Dropbox, so you can click these links to access them. I'll show you what they look like right now. I'll fill out a few for you. What I'm going to show you is the email inserter. It's planetary. Maybe the first time you fill one out, it might take you an extra minute or two. But again, the reason why we changed these is because we heard a lot of feedback about the old insertion orders, and they didn't really ask the right questions, in my opinion, or they worded things in a way that made it confusing. So I tried to make these a lot less confusing, and I tried to make sure I included every option that's available, every report option that you can add on. I made a note if there's an extra hard cost so that you're aware of that as you're filling these out. So my goal was to make these easy for you to fill out, but then also so that they translated well to our operations team, so that as they are reading these insertion orders, they know exactly what you and your client are looking for in the campaign and in the performance of your campaign. Let's do a quick example one. Let's just say the advertiser is a client working with in Washington, D.C. Name, this is really something that will just help you identify the campaign. So if it's a 3-month campaign or a long-term campaign, usually I just put the name of the client and then the month. This one would be Zero Res January 2018. If you have a number, you can type it in. Not all of you do, but sometimes you might for billing purposes. You're submitting the order. And date. Okay, specific deployment date and time, you put that in here. So let's pretend it's account ID. So hopefully if you are submitting the insertion order, you will already have the account ID. If you don't, you can just type the audience description and we can pull account for you. But usually you'll have an account. Write that in there. The emails we are deploying for each deployment. So people submit these and we'll ask for the number of emails and they just say 1. And I just think that we're asking how many deployments we're doing. We're not asking for the number of deployments. We're asking for how many actual people are going to receive the emails when we do each deployment. So let's just say we're going to do, 57,136. So click URL. From. So this is something that we're happy to help you with. If your client does not have a subject line in mind, you can put in parentheses, please make suggestions. or a subject line, you can type it in. I always, as often as I can, I always try to include the recipient's first name in the subject line because it makes it more noticeable and it increases the chance that they will actually click to open it. So what we do is I'll just say, something, try to include a sense of urgency, try to express what the offer is, try to make it as interesting and appealing to the consumer as possible. And then the seed email list. So there's two seed email options. There's a test seed email list and then a final seed email list. A list is any emails or email addresses that you want us to add to the database who are also going to receive the email. So obviously we are going to deploy this email to the 57,136 people who are in our database, but if you want to add a few more emails, like your own email address, maybe you want to put your boss's or your manager's email address in there, maybe you want to include your client's email address. So if there's email addresses that we should add so that they also get these emails, that's where you type these in. And there's two options. The final is the email addresses that are actually going to be included when we deploy the live email. They get the email at the same time all of the consumers get the email. The test is that's when we're still testing it out and making sure that the copy is correct and there's no typos and the creative looks good. So that may not include quite many. I usually leave my client off the test, but you want to include your client, or I'll leave my manager off the test, but include them in the final so that they're in a loop that the campaign is live, but they don't need to see the tests come through. So totally up to you. Will the email include personalization? We're down at additional options. Yes. Please provide detail. Recipient's first name in the subject line. Special notes if there's anything else. And here are all the reporting options for email. Set up UTM parameters, yes or no. And as a reminder, the UTM parameters are for if your client uses Google Analytics to or monitor their incoming website traffic. If they do that, we should include UTM parameters, because what that'll do is when they go into Google Analytics, they will be able to see all of the traffic that came from a campaign. UTM parameters is not a report that we will send to you. So it's not a report on our end. It's a report that your client will be able to see in their Google Analytics. So if they do that, just type in yes, and then yes, please provide the labels. So basically, when they look in their Google Analytics at all of their website traffic sources, it can be labeled by campaign, by source, and by medium. So with campaign, I might type in, January 2018. The source would be Cumulus TC, and medium would be PM or email or, what it is you want to say for the DM. So exactly how many people came to the site because of the Cumulus DC's email campaign in January 2018. Do you matchback report? This is automatic. You'll always get a matchback report, but we included it just so that you have extra reassurance that you request it and that you will get it. On data file, note, this is a $175 hard cost. So if you request this, be prepared to get an invoice for it. The response data file is a report you get, and it looks just like a matchback report. It basically is an Excel document that we will send you that has the names of every person as well as their street addresses who received our email. You'll get an Excel document that has 57,136 names on it, if that's how many people we sent the email to. But it'll also show you which of those people opened the email and then which clicked through to visit the website. So if you have a client and you are a little bit concerned that they're going to say the campaign didn't work, or nobody visited the website, or they didn't get any response, and they're going to be super nitpicky about it, this is a great report to put for them, because it actually shows not people who received the email, but then you see who was actually enough to open it and then click to visit the website. And it's helpful because it also includes their first and last name and their street address. So if a client is also doing a direct mail campaign, that's really good information to know because they know who the hottest leads are. Yes or no with this, and then any additional notes. And that's all you have to do for the email insertion order. Once you have this, save on your computer, and then go to the portal and upload it.
So our number area, just to make sure that everyone knows where they're getting that number from, is something that they get from you, or is that like, go ahead.
I would say 99% leave it blank. We rarely get an order number. Sometimes clients will send you an order number just so that we can put it on the invoice when we send it to your market, and that way they can match up the order that's on the invoice to the order associated with this campaign. So it's strictly something that if your manager asks you to do it, or your billing department asks you to do it, then you have the option to include it there. But it's totally Cumulus's decision, and otherwise just leave it blank.
Okay, just while we're on this, before we say, the number of emails be the same as the count typically?
Typically, yes. Sometimes if we pull a count, like let's say you sold a package to your client before you even got a count, because sellers do that. They just go and maybe they have a package that includes a specific number of emails, or maybe they know their client has a certain budget, and we're trying to make what we say affordable for your client. Sometimes we might have a count that has, 63,000 email addresses in it, but your client can only afford 40,000 emails. If that's the case, that's why that question. Just to confirm, do you want us to send emails to everybody in the audience, or do you want us to only focus on, a number of them? Though I would say, yeah, the number of emails is the same as the number that comes back in the count. It definitely would not be a lower number than the count. If the count comes back at 60,000, you can't really ask us to deploy 75,000 emails because we don't have any people in our database.
Got it.
What I'll do is probably just say the most difficult one is the multi-channel, because it asks for a lot of creative, copy and things like that. So I'll fill out the multi-channel together next. The top portion is very similar to what we just filled out. Advertiser name, campaign, order number if applicable, the place the order, your address, when to begin running the ads, when we should stop running the ads, and click-through URL. Okay. So I'll start with, let me just pull up a quick example. So for click-through URL, obviously this is the website or the landing page that you want people to go to once they click on the banner ad. I'll just pretend I'm doing the multi-channel insertion order for Zero Res. Again, this is a carpet cleaning company that we're working with in Washington, D.C. So click-through URL, it's zero.com. Please list all channels included in the multi-channel campaign. Okay, that's the next line. So a lot of the markets do bundled options, option 1, option 2, option 3. And usually option 1 includes desktop, mobile, and social. Option 2 includes desktop, mobile, social, and native. Option 3 includes desktop, social, mobile, native, and video. Other markets like to pick and choose specific channels, and they like to allocate how many number of impressions will go towards each channel. So this allows you to do it either way. So you just put here, I know that I'm doing option 1, which is desktop, mobile, and social. So just add in the total of impressions we're delivering, 300. Are we letting the system determine how many impressions should be delivered on each channel? Yes. That means you're not specifically allocating a certain number of impressions on each channel, and you're just going to let our based marketing system serve the ads the way they think will work, or the way the system thinks will work best based on the algorithms and the tracking that we're doing. If you prefer to specifically tell us how many impressions you want on each channel, that's fine as well. So you can, social, native, desktop, total 300,000, and then simply just explain here. Just say, I want on social, I want 50K on native, and 150K on desktop. Want to do. If you want to be specific, be specific. If you don't, that's totally fine, and we will use our judgment and our system to know that we are serving the impressions in the efficient way possible for you. Don't stress about this. It's here if you want to be specific, but you certainly don't have to be. I put an image here to the right so you can actually see what a Facebook ad typically looks like, so they know exactly what we're asking for. You only have to fill out this section if social media is included in the multi-channel. If you're not doing social, just a blank. But put in the Facebook URL, so assume it's just DC, or something like facebook.com/0res. And if you know how to get your Facebook URL, I go fast. So you simply go to Facebook and your client in the search bar. Sorry, even Tyler picture you're looking at. There we go. So you on your client and then just highlight the URL. You can copy and then paste it right in the. We'll do the same thing for Instagram. If we ask for the Instagram handle, just go on Instagram, look up your client, figure out what their handle is, and then just type it right in. So the next thing is it's asking you for is the link description. And keep in mind you have a 3-character limit. So link description is simply, you can write here, it's supposed to be really short. It's basically just what your consumer is going to actually click on. So you can say, click or click here or visit the website. It should be something like that. Basically, what are you telling the consumer they should click to do? Is going to be above that. So you have a 25-character limit. Keep that in mind. Put the offer in there, but again, make sure that you keep it short and sweet because you only have 25 characters. And spaces count as characters. So what I type in what I'm hoping I can do, and then I just go up here to the top and really just count. We're at 4 characters, so that's a perfect amount. So get clean for $49 a room, that fits. And the text is what's going to go at the very top. So you've got more characters here. This is a 90-character limit. And for the text, you can say, any kind of tagline, or if you want more information on the offer, you can put that in here. So 0 res, we said, if snow, mud, salt, or pet stains, Okay, same thing here. Oops, little typo. Count and say that it's only, make sure that you confirm that it's just 90 characters or less. If you have no idea what to put here, you can just say, please, recommendation. We're happy to help you with this. Some agencies really to be in control of every part along the build-out process, so you guys might have something specific that you need to include. If not, we are happy to make recommendations. So don't stress about it. Just let us know if you want us to do this for you, and we'll send you an email with some ideas. Otherwise, this is how you fill it out. Same thing with Instagram. So you type in the Instagram handle, 125 characters. So what I usually do for the Instagram caption is just copy what I put as the text for Facebook. I put it right in there so it's consistent, and even add what I did for the headline and put that in with it. Something extra URL. So again, where do you want consumers to go once they actually click on your Instagram ad? Done. Next, native. So an image here, we get a lot of questions about what the descriptions are, or the title versus the description, and the short versus the long, and what this all means over here. So I put an image so that you understand what exactly native ad looks like. Basically, native ad is an ad that is based either on a desktop site or a mobile site, and it's placed so it looks like it's a natural part of the content of the site. So it kind of blends in with the website, and the idea behind native ads is that because it's not as obvious that it's an advertisement, consumers are more likely to look at it. Consumers can very easily block out standard website ads because they're at the very top of the screen or they're off to the side. So consumers can very easily develop banner blindness and just ignore them. But if it's an ad that's between two paragraphs or discussed in a way so that it looks like it's a natural part of the site that the consumer wants to be looking at, they're going to be much more likely to see the ad and engage in a positive way. So native ads tend to perform better than traditional banner ads. Why they're a little bit more expensive, but it's usually worth it because they do tend to work better. When it's created, there's an image and there's a title and a description underneath it. Depending on the website or the mobile site, some sites allow us to have a longer title and a longer description, and others restrict about keeping it short and sweet. So that we ask for two different options, a short title and a long title, and then a short description and a long description. We have character limits here. So if you want us to make suggestions, just let us know by typing in, please make suggestion. Or if you do it, this is where you type it out. Includes video. That's the next one. So just give the video, click the URL, and it's behind the video that you want us to use or how it should be used. And then down to the tracking and the reporting. So this section to be clear on. Do you need a matchback report? Again, every campaign will get this, but this is just confirmation so that you have it in writing, that you requested it, and you know you will get it. Including foot traffic attribution. As a reminder, this is what we can do. So if you have a client maybe doesn't keep track of the names of the customers, let's say I'm a restaurant or a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks, those businesses are not really going to find the matchback report that useful because they're going to be able to match the names of people to who came and bought a Frappuccino. They're not paying attention to the names of the customers. They just want to know that our campaign is driving people to their store. So that's where a foot traffic attribution report will come in handy. What it does is it tracks the consumers who receive our ad or see ad and then actually go to Dunkin' Donuts or to the restaurant or to the 7-Eleven, because we can track where people bring their mobile devices, right? So, you know, the majority of the people who go to a restaurant or to a business or anywhere, they're going to have their mobile device on them. So we know if that mobile device belongs to a person that we served an email to or a social ad to or another advertisement to, we'll be able to track which people actually went to the business location. Keep in mind, though, that there is a minimum impression level that we have to hit before we can pull this report. So only do foot traffic attribution reports if the campaign serves at least 300,000 impressions. Otherwise, we don't have enough data to pull the report. This all comes with a hard cost. It's a 1 CPM hard cost, which means if your campaign includes 300,000 impressions, this report will cost $300. Keep in mind, if you're requesting this, since ZeroRes is doing 300,000 impressions, we can do this report, including a cross-device pixel, yes or no. Reminder on what this is, a cross-device pixel will help track the people who see our ad and then visit the landing page or visit the website of your client. If they don't click on the ad. So a lot of consumers today do is they see ads, but they click on them for a reason. They're too busy, they're distracted, they're afraid they're going to get hacked, or they're going to get spam, or their identity is going to get stolen, or whatever. People don't click on ads for a million reasons now. But that doesn't mean that the ad is not effective. What people are doing, especially millennials today, is they see the ad, and then later when they have time, they will remember to just visit the website. And I personally do it all the time. If I see that favorite clothing store is having a sale, or if there's, you know, a discount on a product that I've had my eye on for a while, I'm not going to click on the banner ad, but later I'll just go visit the website and buy it and make sure that I get that sale. So if that's what's happening today, it's important that we are setting up cross-device pixels, because those pixels will track the consumers behaving in that way. And we'll be able to actually send your client a report that shows how many people clicked on ads to visit the site and how many people did not click but still visited the site on their own, you know, a day or two later. So a client that is going to be interested in seeing how many people clicked and visited a website, or how many people said and visited the website, you're going to want us to pull this report. It does not cost anything extra, but it does involve an extra step, because you have to ask your client to place a pixel on their website. So keep in mind that it might add an extra day or two to the turnaround. We might not be able to launch as quickly if we're doing this. If to include it, there are also a few additional questions that we ask so that we know exactly what type of pixel to create for your client. So, is your client interested in tracking the people at the website? Yes. Is your client trying to track people who purchase a product on the website? No. If it's an e-commerce website and there are no products for sale, there's no reason to for this type of pixel. We track people who are filling out a form or a job application or a request for a consultation or something like that. Oops. Yes. Something else that the client wants to track, please explain it here. We want to track people who visit a specific the website. Maybe we're doing this for an auto dealer and they want to know exactly how many people look at the inventory page, or maybe we're trying to get people to look at the used car page, or something specific. So if that's the case, just let us know and we'll make sure that we set up the pixel correctly so that we achieve your client's goal. One, should we set up UTM parameters? We already over this, so just let us know if your client is likely to use Google Analytics. Type in and let us know how you'd like us to label it. So again, I know it's a lot, but filling this out as complete can, it's just to make sure that we are executing your client's campaign so that it is as successful as we can possibly get it, and that there's no confusion after the campaign is launched where we hear, oh, we wish we set up this reporting, or we wish we knew we could do it this way, or we didn't realize this. All of these questions are simply to help the performance of your client, which ultimately is the most important thing. But just know we're happy to help you through it because I know it's a lot of information. The one is super easy. Follow multi-channel. You're going to find this abbreviated, I'm sure. Let me pull it up for you. Okay, next one is for geofencing or banner ads or any other display campaign that is not related to our database. So again, the top looks exactly the same, where you just put in your contact information, the name of your client, the launch date, things like that. And then just tell us what type of campaign it is. Is it a keyword search targeting campaign? Yes or no? If yes, or just answer the question. Behavioral targeting campaign, and simple questions. If the answer is no, just skip over it. You don't have to do anything. And we'll assume that you're not including behavioral targeting or you're not including keyword search targeting. If it's textual, skip to this section and fill out. If it's campaign and these questions and fencing, you fill out this bottom section here. Just out the addresses that you'd like us to geofence, give us the details, and it's super easy to get set up and launched for you. Then we have the details. Let us know the start date, end date, and the click-through URL for whichever type of banner campaign we're putting together, and let us know the tracking and the reporting preferences. So, oops, should be for you to fill out because we just went over all of it. If you have, let us know. We're totally here to help. And again, all of the reports are available on the Westwood One Dropbox. So Tiffany uploaded those. If you do have problems accessing them, reach out to her or just shoot me a note and we can send them over to you. So we're almost done. There's just a couple policies that we have created to start 2018. And again, the reason behind these is not because we're trying to be a jerk. It's really just to help make sure that we are launching the campaigns efficiently and as quickly as possible. And last year, we were running into a lot of issues where campaign launches were getting severely delayed because we kept going back and forth so many times with the creative proof revisions. So we have a new policy in place where we do 4 proofs and that's included in the original creative fee. In my mind, there's really no reason why more than 4 proofs should be required. So what I'm suggesting to you guys as salespeople is expectation with your client from the beginning. And we are talking about their campaign and talking about email and multi-channel and all these other things that we have. If we need to design all of that creative for you, let your client know. What I would do is I would say, okay, client, you have 3 proofs. That's it. So when we send you the 3rd proof, it's got to be approved. Like, it should be final by then. So encourage your clients to give all of their feedback at once after they see the 1st proof and the 2nd proof. Don't allow them to keep emailing you tiny little changes 100 times a day, because that's going to take forever. So make sure that you tell your client, please give me all of the changes at once so that I can make all of the changes, send you a new proof, and then hopefully it'll be the final one. And just that you tell your client they get 3 so that if they happen to need a 4th one, you look like a hero who's like bending, breaking the rules for them, giving them an extra proof at no cost when really it's totally fun to get 4 proofs. But try to make sure that your clients are giving as much feedback as possible with their edit requests because this has been a huge bottleneck for you guys in getting your campaigns launched on time. If more than 4 proofs is required, we are going to charge a fee for every proof after that one. So 4th proof is included, but the 5th proof will have a fee tied to that we will invoice your market for. And rush policy. So again, this is just to help encourage all of you to make sure that you are filling out the insertion orders as completely as you possibly can, and to help us build out the campaigns and get them launched as quick as possible, but all of the steps involved and why it's not possible for us to launch campaigns the same day or even the day after, because the majority of the campaigns involve a lot on the back end. You know, if your campaign includes social media ads, we have to get your client to give us approval so that we can advertise on behalf of them on Facebook and Instagram. If it requires a cross-device pixel, we have to ask your client to place that on their site, which oftentimes adds a day or two. If we set up certain reporting metrics, that is time-consuming. So it's not as simple as prove the proof and we can go. You know, we have to code it, we have to get it set up. There's a lot more involved after that point. So please understand that if you send us a campaign or an insertion order and you ask us to design the creative, and we go through that whole proof process and set up the social media advertising and place the pixel and the other reporting, if you tell us that it has to go live in less than 3 days, we're going to charge you a rush fee, because it's impossible for us to set a campaign correctly, double check all of our work, make sure there's no error or typos, and make sure everything is set up 100% correctly. It's almost impossible for us to do that in less than 3 days. So if you're asking us to do that, we are going to charge you a rush fee, because we're basically going to have to make your campaign the #1 priority that everybody is focusing on in order to get that done. Providing the creative, it has to go live in 2 days or less. There's going to be a rush fee for that as well. So please just try to keep this in mind when you are selling to your client, and let them know this is not an immediate turnaround. It's going to take at least 3 to 5 days for us to launch these campaigns. So I know that clients are eager to get their campaigns live as quick as possible, and a lot of times the delays, and then once they finally say yes and give you the creative or give you the go-ahead, they want it live now, but you've got to push back on them and just make sure you set the expectation that it is able to launch these today or next day. And expose ourselves to a risk of no errors after the campaign is live. Remails. So I know you like to sell remails. We think it's a great idea. A remail is basically a second deployment that we're sending to the same audience group using the exact same email creative. So that's what email is. Remails usually increase the campaign performance overall. It adds grandeur. It reminds clients or consumers that, you know, they take advantage of the offer that they saw a week ago but then forgot. So staying top of mind with consumers is so important. That's why sending 2 or 3 or even 4 emails per month usually significantly increases the performance of the campaign overall. But keep in mind, a remail means we're using the same creative and deploying to the same audience. So if you request a remail on the insertion order, but then ask us to change the creative or change the audience, and we have to recode it and redesign it, we're going to have to charge you for the regular email fee, because that technically is not a remail. So just that in mind. I wanted to make sure everybody understands what exactly a remail is. It's not just a second email. It's basically just an exact duplication of the first email that we already built out and deployed. A last reminder, the community policy. So I do want to remind everybody to please not give out Bridge phone numbers or email addresses directly to your clients. And please do not reach out to anybody at Bridge and ask them to call if your clients directly. We feel it's so important, since you guys are the account executives and it's your client and it's your relationship. It's so important that you guys stay involved in the sales process. And even after the sale is closed, if we're going to do a recap conversation with your client to go over the reporting or give them an update on how things are going so far, we're always happy to do that. Anytime you need that, we're happy to get that scheduled, but you have to be on the line. We are not going to call your clients directly if you're not involved in that call, because you're the quarterback of the relationship. So it's important that you're learning and that you're involved in every step along the way. And we want your client to view you as the person that they need to reach out to for not only their radio campaigns, but also their digital campaigns. That's why we're trying to be strict on this. It's not that we don't want to be helpful. We do want to be helpful, but you've got to be involved in some way. So if you want to set up a conference call or a screen share, just let us know, but make sure that you are planning on being on that call with us. Okay, slide. So I think wrap up under an hour, and I appreciate all of you guys hanging in there this long. This is just a quick chart that shows you the updated turnaround times. I know that you guys have probably seen this before, but I went through and I updated it just to make sure that everybody's clear on what to expect. And I think the point of this is so that you can set the right expectations with your clients, so that if your client asks, well, how long is it going to take me to get approved? How long is it going to take us to go live? How long does it take for me to get the report after the campaign launches? You refer to this chart, or even send this chart to your client if you want. Just make sure you remove the part that is Bridge. But use this as a reference so that you can tell your client, okay, if just doing the creative and the coding, it's going to take 3 to 5 business days to get the launched. If if creative edits, it takes a business day for them to revise each proof that is asked for. With the reporting, if I need a response data file, I know I'll get it 8 days after the campaign launches. So this hopefully is just a helpful tool for you guys to have, so that you understand when to expect things go live, and then the reporting to get sent back to you after it's live. Again, I know we covered a lot, but all of these are things that will help improve the campaign performance. That always is our #1 goal. I wanted to eliminate confusion, reduce the amount of error that we were seeing, and make sure that the campaigns are being put together the best possible for your advertisers. If you have questions, reach out to me, reach out to Tiffany, and we will make sure that we get back to you as quick as possible. All right, thanks, guys. Have a great afternoon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.